All right, with Russell Westbrook on the horizon, or should I say, going to the mountaintop, be over here joining the Denver Nuggets. I was like, damn, should have made a Nugget joke. Anyway, I think this is actually a good pickup. Right now, you got everybody from young to old, whatever, because we just hate Russell Westbrook, talking about and dogging him out on basically why this doesn't make any sense. It's dumb. Now, if you want to make the point of them getting Russell Westbrook and not retaining KCP, that's a different argument. Because I'm like, no, KCP would have still been the better person here. But getting Russell Westbrook for basically nothing, Jokic wanting him, which I think is a big factor here. But I was like, I don't really see any of the problem. Matter of fact, I was like, Paul Pierce, who said that he should be in the starting lineup and move Jamal Murray to the two guard, I think is even a better idea. I know some people would be like, yeah, but now you got Russell Westbrook and Aaron Gordon there. And it's like, the thing is, Aaron Gordon doesn't really just take the shot. I was like, not saying that he's like over here like a good 3-point shooter, but I'm saying he also just sometimes don't take the shot. Now I was like, you sort of might have to force some, especially with KCP going, to actually take a lot of these shots. But I think that Russell Westbrook is a good fit, and being in the starting lineup, good fit is that I'm like, hey, you need somebody that has like a kick in the ass. Let's be honest. I was like, you've seen sometime with Denver that get the Lakers series, even though they won that one against Minnesota, that they basically fumbled that last game. That they was pretty much they was there in all. I was like, they were either won or they was there in all the game. But look at all those games, and you can see that there were plenty of times where it was just like, when is it going to be put together? When are they going to go on this run? Kind of thing. I was like, because the Lakers dominated really the whole game and all the games they played until it came time for them to get that kick in the ass. I was like, Minnesota, same time. I was like, at the same time, it's like, yes, they won some of the games, some of the games were blowouts, but they also first of all, they let them come back in the game 7 as well. So, for much as you could say about Russell Westbrook, even at this age, the energy, his ferociousness, the intensity, and all things that you can't teach that a team needs. Hell, I was like, when they were playing against Phoenix a couple years ago, where it was just like him and Norman Powell, that should have been that. I was like, that should have been why. But it was in all those games. Why Russell Westbrook, despite I was like some of his inefficiencies and stuff like that. Before the injuries and stuff like that with the Clippers were doing really damn well, and some of that was because of Russell Westbrook. And then when he got hurt, they sort of started to become the Clippers and stuff. Um, Now I was like, the Jokic part of it. If Jokic is the one that was like, yo, give me Russell Westbrook, one that already gives you and I was like, it's going to be a lot different than the LeBron backing, because Jokic will stick by the pick that he has of Russell Westbrook and be like, and if he it does come out that he was like wanting to play with him, I believe Jokic will stand there. Whereas like LeBron did at the beginning, then after a while, you sort of seen how that goes, where he sort of was like, get him off this team. Also, with Jokic, if he's this great player that we all think he is, and not just the great player, but the kind of player that he is, I think that makes it different because of him being a passing center. So that means that I was like, him and how he facilitates the ball and figure out how people are going to go. I think that's basically the way that you need to look at this. Like if it was, maybe it's like some other team. Like say it was another type of big, where it's like Rudy Gobert. No, that's not good. Joel Embiid, that's not good. Jokic works. I was like, because basically to me, Russell Westbrook is really going to be their Bruce Brown. I was like, think about Bruce Brown. Do you really think of him as a shooter? No. Now in that playoffs, I was like, he was hitting cold ass threes, but we don't ever think of that. We always think him of like this slasher, cutter, knowing where to be with the ball, like, backdoor type of stuff, which is Jokic is really good at passing. And that's what he's going to really do with Westbrook. Also, sort of taking the fact that, like I said, Aaron Gordon is not a 3-point shooter. You don't feel like him that way, but he can hit threes. Jamal Murray, I was like, that's not the main part of the game, but he can shoot threes. Michael Porter Jr., that's all he can do is shoot threes. Jokic can shoot threes. Guess what you need to surround Russell Westbrook with? I was like, people who are at least going to willing to take shots. Not. I was like, they're gonna still have to figure out some stuff. I'm not gonna say that this is the 3-point shooting team that you need around Westbrook. But what I'm saying is that you have more than capable people to where Russell Westbrook can just stay. And basically, I feel like he's going to have to do not only just some of the Bruce Brown stuff that I think they're going to do, but also sort of like what he played with in Houston, where it was, you are sort of our fifth guy and everybody else is a form of 3-point shooter around. That's how I feel like they're going to sort of play in sometime. Now, I do think having Jokic is going to be smart to figure out Aaron Gordon and Russell Westbrook of basically how they just don't get in each other's way. That's what that's going to be. Another thing too, it's not costing them nothing. Like when I brought up with the LeBron thing, the thing that sucked with that was because of the amount of money needed to pay Russell Westbrook, and he can't perform at that top level anymore. The Clippers, I was like, the reason that it sort of did work and probably should have been better is just because you had Paul George, you had Kawhi Leonard, and then you got James Harden. You got 3 other people who's supposed to shoulder the load of offense to where you don't have to have it on Russell Westbrook like that. And here, I was like, it's going to be on Jokic and Jamal Murray and whatnot. With that being said, they're not paying him nothing. So, at worst, you could probably flip him to somebody because he's still Russell Westbrook to where he could get something. Or maybe you just got to let him go, which would be another thing. But best case scenario, we already know what he get. Also, he could push the pace. Like I said, I was like that energy. He could push the pace, and I think that is needed sometimes because you got good transitional people with Jamal Murray, Porter, and Gordon who can run the floor. You take off the burden of not only transitional baskets or that any of that. I was like, I mean, he still is a guy that's like, maybe his free throw shooting isn't what it used to be, but him getting to the free throw line and getting their team in the penalties and stuff like that. And to be honest, it's another ball handler that just takes away from Jamal Murray having to bring the ball up and orchestrate a whole lot, and Jokic having to orchestrate the ball. Have the ball and orchestrate a lot, which saves them rest. I was like, so you get another ball handler. Now, the thing of starting and or sitting, to me, I was like, while you do need, he would be somebody off the bench where you could give Jamal Murray a breather, or, like I said, Jokic a breather, because they could figure out how they want to do. You could do like some small ball stuff with Gordon at the 5. I also think that we just don't really know what the bench of Denver is in a way that makes it. Cause guess what? Russell Westbrook is probably at his best when he's playing along players that are at a certain level, I would say. And so with that second unit, that's going to have Watson and I don't even know who the rest of them is, and I'm not going to pretend like I do, because I was like, starter will probably be starting if Russell Westbrook is on the bench. So I was like, with that second unit, I was like, and maybe they started off at the bench, and then maybe they move in and starting and go to the benches, because you want to see what that second unit is. I will say the thing I will say with the cons is, one is, yes, the shooting is not at a high enough level. Christian Braun, I forgot about Christian Braun too as well. The shooting is not at a high enough level to really actually probably be on the bench more so than start. Um, I was like, the spacing of him and Gordon, that's going to be that sort of an issue in that perspective. Um, yeah, I was like, but I was like, I really don't think there's any cons here that's really worth a damn, just because I said it's not costing them nothing. In other news, just a little sidebar: Gary Trent went to Milwaukee. Haven't thought about that. And really good pickup, veteran minimum. I mean, well, not veteran minimum, but minimum contract, bet on himself type deal. I thought this was a better place than going to the Lakers. Hopefully he can regain what he sort of was with Dame that he sort of had in Portland, where he was this 3-and-D kind of guy where he could shoot the ball and defend. But that's sort of what they needed at the two guard. They needed a shooter, but also some dude that can also sort of defend and be a little bit more athletic than what they sort of have. He's, to me, an upgrade over Malik Beasley, who that only gives you shooting and is streaky at that. And Pat Connaughton, that's sort of really just sort of, I don't even really know too much really nowadays, but I think it's a good pickup, and it's like I said, just like the Westbrook thing, it ain't costing you nothing. But yeah, Russell Westbrook going to Denver, I see nothing but upside, because it ain't like you traded anything major or signed him to a big deal that's worth a damn. I think it'll go to work out. But until then, peace. I'm out.